It's time to meet another local and find out why they love our hilltop town. And today, much-loved art teacher Des Alner, who has set up a teaching space at Twyford with his partner Julie. At Higher Green Farm Arts, the couple bring out the artistic talents of kids who may otherwise be left behind. And they're dedicated to supporting young artists with learning challenges that mean they need a little extra help. Des has been firmly rooted in our town for decades.
50 years, I reckon. It's about people, and it's about the eccentricity of the place. People like Stanley Mansbridge. Years ago, he was a local builder, I think, but he was also the mayor and the town crier. And he used to make a real din with his bell and everything, and he was a real character. And I felt myself coming into a community where there was lots of things going on. So I played in the Shaftesbury Band for 20 years.
What did you play?
Euphonium, very badly. If you don't mind the language, Charlie Butt, who was a remarkable person, I remember one day saying, he was tapping my stand saying, "Call yourself a bloody teacher and you can't read bloody music." It was about those sort of characters and things going on. I lived in Oakford and I was teaching in Poole, and I managed to get a job in Shaftesbury at the early days of the King Alfred's Middle School. And that's when people like Tony Selwood, who was like there at 5 a.m. and the last to leave type person, he set a pace. And all the staff more or less had all their children at that school at that time. So it was a real community, and we had so many things going on. I will say, before national curriculum, it was a wonderful thing going on, between being restricted with sort of rules and tick boxes.
Are you from Oakford originally then? Was it
my roots, my ancestors are from there, but I originally come from Bournemouth. But it's another long story.
Do you consider yourself Dorset or Hampshire then? Because it was a boundary change, wasn't it?
I was on the Wallasdown Road. So I was born in the Hampshire side, and if you crossed the road, you were in Dorset. But they changed that.
So in the time you've been in Shaftesbury then, how has the town changed for the better?
It's sort of metamorphosing. It's changing all the time anyway. I like to think that all the characters are all still here in different ways and grow up and pass on, because where there's a space, someone fills it. I mean, look over the road, say, like to the Shaftesbury Emporium over there. Do you know what I mean?
The antique shop, yeah.
Yeah, and I know those people where they had a place down in Semley. So they're still full of energy and what they're pushing their sort of their message out. So the town is changing all the time, and I have to say, throughout the whole time, the one thing about this place is the people. Our kids have grown up with the guides and the scouts and the drama and everything. Dedicated people. My oldest daughter, Rachel, who's about 50, she was a guide with Yvonne and Keith, who have just retired. Do you know what I mean? Jenny Merrifield, I remember painting an old lorry in their front garden for their carnival when they first launched it in the back of the lorry, and now look at their wonderful things. So, and the place is just full of all these dedicated people volunteering mostly for children, I think. And you've got the community art guy in here, David Grierson, you know.
We've got things like the Fringe, which have emerged, the Snowdrop Festival.
Yeah, incredible, yeah. It's amazing. There's just so much energy. And I think that standing on historic grounds, to me, is important, because being a pottery person, I can't stop looking in soil, looking for pottery fragments. And you kind of feel that the ground underneath you is just historic, which it is. And the story of King Alfred, because I got into King Alfred's Middle School, I was amazed when I got the Ladybird book out on the life of King Alfred. I thought, wow, this was an amazing bloke, you know, and it grows to the Abbey. I'm involved with some young people making souvenirs for the Abbey. So so it goes on and on. We're just part of the framework of the whole place.
King Alfred is at the Abbey.
But I was involved with Andrew Dumont in persuading him to make it, because I knew Andrew had that in him. And I persuaded him to make it because it was on a plinth in King Alfred's Middle School. originally, and then when the school closed, it was brought to the Abbey.
What do you miss? Because things change, people move on, businesses change.
I don't really know. I don't know. I suppose when it's like some of the children tonight, they're moving on, and I will miss them. But there's a space where some other things come in. Do you know what I mean?
If you had a day off in Shaftesbury, what would you want to do?
I would probably call in at John Peel and have a bacon sandwich, but will probably give me terrible indigestion because I just like that sort of routine. I generally, which is the other thing, can't stop bumping into people and having a natter.
Well, so many people know you, and I have to say, whenever we put something on social media about you, you get so much love. People who think you were the best teacher ever. You've shaped lots of lives.
Well, I hope so. Yeah, I used to say to the kids, when we leave this planet, the planet's a little bit better off for your existence, you know. So, yeah, and I can't really help it. I'm just emotionally attached to it. So, and the people and the children. Yeah.
Have you got a favourite view around town?
Park Walk is always inspiring because you look across. I mean, the obvious thing is Gold Hill, but I think Park Walk is the thing. When you walk through the town, you suddenly go through the gap and you come out to Park Walk. There's that feeling of expanse and distance, you know.
But where you are in Twyford, that's a very special setting too, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, we're very fortunate. The whole story of how we got there is fortunate because it's meant to be. We didn't want to live in each other's houses because I knew everyone. The estate agent over the road said, "This is what you're looking for. It's a council farm, falling to bits and going up for auction." So I went next door to the NatWest Bank and spoke to Alistair, who again I knew through school, and said, "What do you do if you want to borrow £250,000? And he laughed. And then 2 days later looked at our house and said, "It can be done." And so I just knew that was it. We didn't have any surveys or anything. It was a waste of time because it's falling down anyway. And so we went to the auction in the Grosvenor Hotel, and I said to Julie, "We cannot go a penny over that price." And she said, "Hardly worth coming out then." So, and I said, "No, that's it." So the bidding started, and there was, at first when we went, there was hardly anyone in, and then 2 minutes before, the place was packed. So the bidding started, and I said, "Julie, let me deal with this," you know. So I let it go, and after a bit, I think it was something like, 200,000 or something, and I suddenly went, "Yep," like that, and he said, "New bidder over here," and 200, "Yep." I went to 210, "Yep," going on like that, and they got to 230, "Yep," and then it stopped. They said, "Come on, this is worth more," but no, we got it for 230,000.
And what year was that?
That was about 25 years ago.
Wow.
And we ended up with no mortgage and no money.
But a great place to live.
Yeah.
And so many opportunities of what you can do there.
And again, talking about the tip, I used to show off that I used to have a slate at the skip at the tip, because I could bring windows, doors, patio doors, everything is from the tip.
So finally, when you've been away out of the Shaftesbury area, what's the first thing that you see in the landscape that makes you think, "I'm almost home"?
That's a very good point, especially when you've been abroad or something like that. Places like Hambledon Hill and things like that, to me, because of Child Oakford and stuff like that. But I think it's especially if you've just driven from Heathrow or something, and you come up the hill and you've got Shaftesbury, you suddenly feel that relaxing sort of fact that you're home and dry. Yeah.
Des Alner told Kerry why he loves our hilltop town.